Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to talk about the sternum bone. So sternum is 17 centimeter long and it is a flat bone. From anterior median part of thoracic skeleton, it represents three components like manubrium, then body, this is the body, and the xiphoid process. So this is longer in male than in case of female. Sternum from side form an angle which is called as angle of Lewis. So this is the angle. This is called as, and here the angle is formed, it is called as angle of Lewis, which is generally 163 degree, and it increases during inspiration and decreases during expiration. And also the movement of manubrosternal joint occur, and manubrosternal joint is secondary cartilaginous joint. Now coming to anatomical position of sternum. So this is the, you will hold like this. This is the anatomical position of sternum, in which the broader part is directed upwards and narrower end is downward. Broader part upwards and narrower end downwards, and convex surface is in front. This is the convex surface. As you can see, convex surface, concave surface. This is forming a cave-like projection, so it is concave and it is convex. So it faces front and it faces behind, and then it slopes obliquely downwards. As you can see here, it slopes obliquely downwards. So it slopes obliquely from above downwards, slightly forward. Let's discuss manubrium. So this is the manubrium, and it is a part of sternum which is quadrilateral in shape, and it is at T3 and T4 vertebral level. This is thoracic 3 and thoracic 4 vertebral level, and it is thickest and strongest part of the sternum. This is thickest. As you can see, it is thickest and strongest part of the sternum, which consists of two surfaces. This is anterior surface and this is posterior surface, and the four borders. This is superior border, this is inferior border, this is lateral border, and also one more lateral border. It consists of two surface and four border. Now anterior surface is rough because it gives attachment to two muscles. First is sternal head of sternocleidomastoid muscle. As you can see here, this is the attachment of the manubrium, that is sternal head of sternocleidomastoid muscle, and laterally, or we can say inferiolaterally, attached to the sternocostal head of the pectoralis major muscle, which extend on the body of sternum. It also extend on the, like from here to here it will extend. So it is sternocostal head of the pectoralis major muscle. Coming to posterior surface, is it give attachment to sternohyoid in upper part. So here and here, the sternohyoid muscle in posterior surface of the manubrium, it will give attachment. Then the sternothyroid, so sternohyoid and sternothyroid in the lower part and in inferior lateral part. This is the lateral border, and so downwards and backwards inferior lateral position, it will attach sternothyroid. Now coming to relation of manubrium. So posteriorly, the lower surface of manubrium is related to arch of aorta. So this part is related to arch of aorta, this part, and upper half is related to the brachiocephalic trunk, left common carotid artery, left subclavius artery from medial to lateral, and one more component, that is left brachiocephalic vein. The lateral surface is, this surface is related to the corresponding lung and the pleura. Coming to anterior surface, so this is the suprasternal notch which give attachment to the interclavicular ligament. Margin of each clavicular notch give attachment to capsule of sternoclavicular joint. So this is the margin which give attachment to the sternoclavicular joint, and this is the jugular notch, suprasternal notch, or interclavicular notch, which give attachment to the interclavicular ligament. Now sternum and clavicle will form a joint here which is called as sternoclavicular joint, and it is a saddle variety of synovial joint. However, lower border is upward and smooth and articulate with the facet of body of sternum that forms the manubrosternal joint, and which is secondary cartilaginous joint. Rough transverse ridges also form, which is palatable from the surface. So now coming to angle of Lewis. So here the angle of Lewis is formed, which is generally 163 degree. Importance of angle of Lewis. So at this position there will be the formation of cardiac plexus, upper limit of base of heart, arch of aorta. Arch of aorta, as you can see here, the arch of aorta will start here and will end here. Okay, and trachea will divide into two branches, and also the bifurcation of pulmonary trunk will also occur into right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery. Now coming to lateral border of the manubrium. So these are the lateral border of the manubrium. These are the lateral border of manubrium. So it will articulate with the first costal cartilage to form the chondrosternal joint, which is primary cartilaginous joint, and it also bear a demifacet, that is incomplete facet or half facet. Half of the lateral border of manubrium and half of the lateral border of body will form the second chondrosternal joint, which is plain variety of synovial joint. So the manubrium lateral surface consists of complete facet and also a demifacet. Demifacet is a half facet. Lateral border between two first and second facet will form an anterior border of first intercostal space. Here the anterior border of first intercostal space will be formed, and anterior intercostal membrane and intercostalis intermiss muscle will also get attachment here. Now coming to body of sternum. So this is thin, elongated bony plate approximately double the length of the manubrium and having two ends, upper end and lower end. Two surface, anterior surface, this is the posterior surface. Posterior surface is concave, anterior surface is convex, and also the two border, that is two lateral border. Now upper end of the body connects with the lower border of manubrium to form the manubrium sternal joint, which is secondary cartilaginous joint, and the lower end will join with the upper end of the Ziffy process to form the Ziffy sternal joint, which is the primary cartilaginous joint. This is the exception of midline joint, as in body all the midline joints are secondary cartilaginous joint except the Ziffy sternal joint in symphysis mentis. Now coming to lateral border of body, which have complete four costal facets and for the articulation of third to sixth costal cartilage, and they form the chondrosternal joint. Upper and lower part there is presence of here, and here is presence of demifacet. One demifacet on manubrium and on upper part, and one demifacet on xiphoid process and on lower part. In between the notches, the lateral border are formed the anterior border. So between the notches will form the anterior border of intercostal spaces, which provide attachment to anterior intercostal membrane of the intercostalis intermiss muscle. Now coming to anterior surface of body, which is convex, rough, and show three transverse ridges. You can see the transverse ridges. These are the transverse ridges, which is the fusion of the sternal segment, which is 4 in number, and individual sternal segment as sternibri. So individually it is called as sternibri, and 4 sternibri joined to form the body of sternum. In some sternum there is a gap between the fusion of third to fourth, that is there is a gap between here and here, and it will form, or it will be seen as a foramen here. This is called as sternal foramen, and it is a developmental defect. Into posterior surface of the sternum. So posterior surface of the sternum is concave, smooth, and also form the 3 transverse ridges, which is very faint here. Lower side will give attachment to sternocostalis muscle here and here. Then the right half of posterior surface throughout its extent, like this much, will give attachment to the right, will give the relation to the right pleura and the right lung. Left half this much will be related to right left pleura and left lung, and lower half is directly related to pericardium. So now coming to Ziffy sternal process or metasternum. It is the smallest part of sternum, and firstly it was cartilaginous but ossified in case of adult. It can be bifid or perforated, and it is variable in size, and it lies in the floor of epigastric fossa. The tip of xiphoid process gives attachment to the upper gives attachment to the lower end of the body to form the Ziffy sternal joint, which is the primary cartilaginous joint. The tip of the xiphoid process gives attachment to the uppermost part of linea alba. Anterior surface, this is the anterior surface, give attachment to the rectus abdominis muscle, and aponeurosis of external oblique abdominis muscle. On either side it gives attachment to the aponeurosis of transverse abdominis and internal oblique. posterior surface of xiphoid process provide attachment to sternal head of diaphragm. Sometime may be absent, and it is related to anterior surface of the liver. If the attachment of sternal head of diaphragm will be absent in posterior surface, in that case it is seen as a large foramen, that is a foramen of Morgani, which is potential site of diaphragmatic hernia, or we can say the potential site of retrosternal diaphragmatic hernia. Now what is the vertebral level of whole manubrium? So from thoracic 8 vertebra to thoracic 9 vertebra, there will be the presence of xiphisternal joint. On thoracic 5 vertebra to thoracic 8 vertebra, the body will be present. Thoracic 3 vertebra to thoracic 4 vertebra, the manubrium will be present. At the junction of thoracic 4 to thoracic 5 vertebra, manubristernal joint will form. And now coming to ossification of sternum, there will be 2 centers of ossification in 5 months. As you can see the ossification in the diagram, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and also there are 2 centers of ossification in 5 months. Center appear in 3rd year at the xiphoid process for the ossification, and it ossifies at 40 years. So remain united between 17 to 25th year, it get united. Soon after puberty it all get reunited, and fusion about at the 40 year of age, the xiphoid process. Bone marrow examination usually occurred from the manubristernal puncture. It is done in the upper half to prevent the injury of arch of aorta, which lies behind the lower half. So basically the sternal puncture will be done in the upper part to avoid the injury of arch of aorta, because arch of aorta will be in the lower part. So if there will be a puncture in upper part, so the chance of injury to arch of aorta will be less. If the sternal plate will not fuse, then it can cause the ectopic cordis, in which the heart will lies uncovered on the surface, and partial fusion of plates to form the sternal foramen. There are also some clinical anatomy related to sternum, like funnel chest, in which the sternum will be depressed, and the pigeon chest, which is forward projection of the sternum and flattened of the chest wall on either side. This was all about the sternum. I hope you like this video, and if you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe, like and comment below. Thank you.